the successful businessmen or even just successful people, and they're like, well, I want to be like that. How do I get to that point? And they just don't realize, like, you have to be smart with your money. You have to make it an asset, not a liability for you to be successful.
Yeah, I think that there's a great book. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. I don't remember who wrote it, but I read it a long time ago. And the basic gist of the book is that the millionaires, they're far and wide normal people.
Yeah,
They're normal people. They drive pickup trucks. They don't look real fancy, and because the way they got there was slow, steady, systematic. It wasn't, the lottery winner. Yeah, you have those. It wasn't the people that inherited a bunch of millions. There are those, but most of the people, they go slow, steady, and then eventually they get there. So young people sometimes, we want it so bad, and we don't understand how they really got there. And so you assume, well, they did this or they did that, when the reality is the way they got there was probably a lot simpler than you realize, but it takes patience.
I don't think very many people have patience.
No, that's another learned skill. Is real important, but it takes patience. It takes just slow, steady. You have to trust the process, and you have to understand that you're not going to get there in a year or two, like CrossFit. I feel like I can attest to. Let's go inside the box now, right? Talk about that.
You want to go inside the box? We'll go inside the box. So,
oh gosh,
did you always start at Dogfight though, or were you?
I've only been a member at Dogfight. I started at Dogfight. Gosh, I really technically started at Dogfight in November of, I think it was 2014.
Really?
Yeah, and that before you raise your eyebrows too much, you can lower them now, because really,
I didn't expect that.
That lasted a whole 3 months, I think, and then I quit.
Okay.
And then I didn't really join again until I remember my join date, because it's 3, 2, 1, go, right?
Yeah.
It happened to be March 21st of 2018. That's when I really started. March 21st, 2018. And then even then I was kind of sporadic. But like in the last year, I've upped the consistency, because the reality is I think for my age, I think I look good. I don't look great, but I think I'm one of the weaker guys at the gym, but I keep showing up, and I've learned to just trust the process. Like, I've learned what works for me.
See, and I think a lot of people just don't realize that. Like, one thing might be working for another person, but then it's like if you try to do the same thing as that person, you just could digress and not get to where you want to get to.
Yeah.
And I think that's, from a coach's viewpoint, that's awesome that you found your way and how things work for you. I mean, you're doing awesome. You're improving. You're kicking butt. And you said you feel stronger, and your movement patterns is it's better than where it was before.
Thanks. Yeah, I feel.
So if nobody told you they're proud of you, I'm proud of you.
Thanks. I feel like I'm moving better. I know I'm stronger. I don't think I look that different, but CrossFit's really at its heart. It's not really about what you look like. It's about what you're able to do. But I feel good. So I'm really happy about that. And a big turning point for me was I got hurt. I was probably overworking and not because of so much of what I was doing in the gym, but what I wasn't doing out of the gym, or out of the box, I should say.
Yeah. Pun intended.
Yeah. I think CrossFit is, if you just go and you work out and you don't take care of the other two things, recovery and mobility, I think that you're in trouble. And recovery really is about what obviously what you eat and what you sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
And your stress, managing all that. So, I like sugar water a lot. It's good. It's great, in fact, for a lot of people. But I was getting negative with it. I was getting on there, and I was because CrossFit by nature is a lot of it's a community thing, and so we feed off each other. We compete against each other, and in doing that, inherently, we compare ourselves to each other. Well,
very much. Did
I beat so and so? Well, you got to compare how you do to so and so that's great. And I see a lot of guys and girls that really thrive off that, and that's what it's intended to be. And there are times when I do that as well, but for the most part, I got to a point in my mind where I was just using it more as a negative and just like beating myself up and feeling bad because I felt like I should be doing X compared to so and so, and I wasn't. So once I, and then I got these injuries from just overwork and not really recovering and just trying to go back into the gym too much when I really wasn't ready. But once I healed from that, I stepped away from the gym probably for too long of a time. But when I came back, it was just about just go back, just get reps in, stay healthy, just move, not necessarily go through the motions, but just, don't go crazy. And I wasn't doing sugar water anymore. I wasn't even looking at it. And man, I got into like this space in my mind where it became really healthy. It became really good. I started to feel good about what I was doing. My mobility was getting better. Everything was getting better. And I was just ultimately like really happy. And I still am riding that wave. So I guess my whole point is that it's important to figure out, what works for you, and just kind of, it's a journey, whether it's investing or whether it's CrossFit or whether it's your marriage. There's stuff you're going to learn all throughout the way, and you just have to kind of keep chipping away and enjoying the process as you go. But every once in a while, when you look back, you realize, wow, I've really come a long way.
Yeah, and I mean, somebody asked me today, they're like, it was because we recently just did Murph. And
we definitely did Murph.
Oh my gosh, I loved the weather though.
Yeah,
that was it was beautiful. I mean, it was a little chilly on the first run, but it was like, okay, I think everybody's gonna have a good year because it's not too hot and it's not too cold, and it's like we're not already sweating out from just the heat. But somebody asked me, so they were like, Angie, how long have you done CrossFit? I was like, oh, I've done it for about 6 years. And from your point of view just now, I was just like, 6 years is a really long time. Wow. No, but she's asking me about like how many times I've done Murph in a vest, and it was like I've only done it about, I think, 3 times in a vest, and that's it. All the others has been weight or a partner. But I very much agree with you that people need to get out of their competitive mode sometimes and really focus on where you're at in your health, because if you're injured, you can't really do much and you're not going to be 100%.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're just going to degress. So that's a huge step, like you said, enjoying that process of, I have to cut it back. I got to focus on what's, how can I improve in another way to get better in this way. And it amazes me how people kind of just don't realize, like, how you said like 44 isn't old, and you're right. Everything's a process. And I think as, I'm going to be 25 next year. Mm-hmm. So a quarter of my life is already gone. But
that's cup half
but
empty if I've ever heard it.
But it's like you gotta learn and continue to learn how things can be. My siblings didn't really start their true life until after 25.
Oh man, life is so long. It's long and short at the same time.
Right.
I think, and not that I'm some kind of expert on life, but
well, with finances, sure.
But no, especially not that. But here's what I do know. I mean, I met my wife when I was I met her in 2004. So I was about to turn 27. I was 26, and it was February, and I turned 27 in April. And I remember that at that point in my life, I was feeling like I was never going to meet anybody because, I'd already been in the Air Force. I'd been out of the Air Force. I was working. Just wasn't meeting anybody. Like, it just probably wasn't going to work for me, and that's all right. Even though I wanted to be with somebody desperately. But it goes to show you, and everybody says, oh, it'll just happen when you're not looking. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm looking. I want to find somebody.
Right. And do you know how many people have said that to me?
I know.
And
yes, I hear you. I was there.
It was just like,
and it feels like yesterday.
You don't understand. But oh my God, I don't know how it is with guys versus girls. I mean, like,
probably not that different. I'm guessing.
Probably not. But they make it seem like, oh, he's not grown up yet. And I'm like, no, there's people that are getting married at 18, 19, 20 years old. What the heck is happening?
Yeah.
Or my friends are getting married, or some of them are having babies right now. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to be in that spot. I remember. Yeah, but then it does kind of happen for you. So life is long and short. When you're in your 20s, there's so much more to live. At the same time, it goes by really fast.
Yeah.
Like I said, like it feels like yesterday when I met Kathy. I walked into that place, Speed. I remember what I was wearing, and it was. Gosh, we're gonna be married now. I better get this right. It'll be 15 years in
Congratulations.
September. Thanks.
That's awesome.
I feel fucking old is what I feel like. When you think you've been married that long.
Oh,
2 kids.
That's crazy. See, when I was talking with my last guest on my last episode, they were celebrating, I think, 23 or 24 years. And I was telling her, it's like, you don't even hear about it that much anymore. It kind of just seems like that's the trend of like going more than 10 years or even, it's awesome that you made 15, but it's like, how do people stay connected? How do people keep going? And I feel like it's like a generational thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I remember when we went to get our marriage license at the county courthouse downtown, there's a they have a or they had a plaque on the wall that shows number of marriage licenses handed out and number of divorce decrees or whatever they do it that they also, and it was 49%. So 49% of people get divorced, and it's not a cool thing to see when you go into the place.
Do you think it's like not like a threat, but like a warning? Like, hey, you want to be 49%, or you want to be?
I tell you, whatever it is, I didn't forget. It left an impression.
I have no doubts.
I never forgot it. So I think you work at it. You hope that you grow together. You're gonna grow, because I'll tell you, I'm not the guy today that I was back then. I can use big and small examples, but like moderate, I'd say example is CrossFit. I wasn't into CrossFit at all when I met Kathy, and CrossFit has become a pretty big part of my life, because anybody out there listening that does CrossFit knows you don't just show up to the quote unquote gym and come home. You have to eat right. You have to make sure you sleep. You have to dedicate yourself to it. You have to do some accessory work.
Right.
So it's more than just an hour at the gym. And of course, you work and you do all these things. But I've grown into this person that really enjoys that. And that's a part of my life. And that wasn't there before. And you hope that you're with someone that is also going to grow kind of together with you. And she doesn't do CrossFit at all. In fact, she hates it. I've tried to get her to.
And she hates it?
Oh, I've tried to get her to be in the box so many times. Like, come on, we get a family discount. No, I hate it. Stop it.
She can come. She can come party with us. We'll have a good time.
I even told her, Saturdays are free. Like, you can just go.
Yeah.
It's open to everybody. I don't think I'll ever get her in. But she gives me the space to do my thing. So in that sense, we've grown together to where we're kind of growing as different people, but we're still together, and we keep working on that bond. Kids are a huge thing in your life that are both will bring you together in a way that, it's one of the most special things in life. And I hated kids. I hated kids before I had my own. I hated kids. I hated being around people that talked about their kids.
So what happened?
Shut the fuck up.
Isn't that like crazy how people are just like, oh, they do this and this and this and this and this, and then they're up here on this and they get their participation trophies. By the way, what's your opinion on participation? Yes or no?
I hate participation trophies. I do.
Oh my gosh.
It just doesn't teach you like the real world out there.
Right.
You got to get out there. You got to win. You got to deal with losing.
So what made you switch your mind about kids then?
Having my own, and they just change you. So kids will bring you together and are also a huge stressor in your life. Navigating that, getting fired from a job. It's a huge thing. Switching careers, going from air traffic control to now going back to school to be a CPA. Totally different career path.
Yeah.
Those are things that are real stressors, but they're also opportunities to bring you together. So, you just hope that you can kind of love each other through all that and continue to be strong. Like anything else, you just have to work at it, in and out of the box.
You're so punny.
I know. Yeah. I'm so punny.
I honestly, I think that's something that, a lot of people just don't take to heart when they're realizing like there's definitely, from my experiences with relationships and, yes, I'll agree. Your first 3 months in a brand new relationship, it's definitely a honeymoon phase. But I think it's awesome. But I think after that, though, you actually start to realize how things are going to pan out. But I think that, I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, you need to have those low, shitty moments where you feel like you're never going to find somebody to realize what those good high moments are and like where you found that person.
Yeah.
And you want to, like you said, grow together, but also still, having your own path and then like weaving together.
Yeah.
Kind of pretty much like a braid has 3 strands, but when it's woven together, it's strong. Mm-hmm. Very much. And how you said, like, your kids brought you together.
That's an amazing metaphor, by the way.
I just came up with that on the spot.
That's deep shit.
It's like, where am I going with this? But, I just don't think people have these crucial conversations anymore. Mm-hmm. They want that life, but it's like, are you ready to work? Are you, it's awesome that you and your wife, you're able to give each other that space to do your own thing. But again, you guys still come together. And then, I've babysat before and I see sometimes on the fridge, these kids' schedules. There was one house I babysat, and they were like, all right, kids wake up at this time. Kids have to do this. Kids have to do this. Kids have to do this. All right, this is lunchtime. All right, at this time, this and this. And it was like at Monday through Thursday, we're going to do this.
Wow.
And then the weekend,